There's even like weirder occasions that happened a long time ago. I remember this one that stands out in my memory, much like the that one time long ago. But this was when I was a teenager, probably around I think I was like 14 maybe. I was in bed, and I don't remember having a nightmare that night, but I remember waking up in the middle of the night. I woke up for no apparent reason, and when I looked up at the ceiling, it was crawling. Like the ceiling was moving. I had one of those textured ceilings, you know, the stucco patterns, whatever it is. So I think it was just my eyes playing tricks on me, but for some reason, and I don't really know why, I got out of bed. I got out of bed and grabbed my notebook. Oh shit. So I remember I got out of bed and I grabbed my notebook and a pencil, and I went downstairs and I kind of just... I really don't know why, but I laid down, or I sat down at the base of the stairs in the darkness, and I just stared at the doorway next to it, the hallway, entryway, archway, and I just stared there, and I sat there, and I couldn't tell if I was dreaming or not. I really couldn't tell, like, what I was doing or what was going on. I just remember I was staring at this doorway, just watching it morph and shift and like change, and I would blink and I would think that something was there, like there's this shadow looming in the hallway, like entryway. Like I don't know why I was just sitting there staring at it. And it would go and it would be there and it would be gone, and then it would come back, and it was just this big moving shadow, like shifting and like morphing in the darkness. And I knew at the time it was just my eyes playing tricks on me, and I wasn't really scared at that point. I was kind of creeped out, but I wasn't scared. So, okay, so yeah, to recap my story, I'm at the bottom of the stairwell staring into the entryway into the darkness, and I see occasionally, like very occasionally, this big moving shadowy figure. Just, it's kind of like in the static of the darkness, like I just see the outline of it. No details, just arms, legs, body, and head. And so I take my notebook and I just start sketching the doorway, like the whole entryway, and I sketch, just trying to get like a picture of what I saw. I'm not 100% sure why, but I was just sitting at the bottom of the stairwell in the darkness. It was like 3 a.m. sketching, and then I can't even see what I'm drawing because it's so dark. So I just kind of get a rough outline, and then I look closely at what I was drawing, and I see what I drew, and I literally just drew this shadowy figure standing in the doorway. And for some reason, when I did that, it made it really real for me. Like maybe I was still dreaming at that point, but I was physically downstairs. And so like I sort of realized where I was and looked around, and I was just like, I had this overwhelming sense of dread. Like, this isn't a ghost story or anything, this isn't anything like that, nothing supernatural happened, but this is really what happened to me. And I had no justification for why I was doing that, and why I was down there, and why I drew this shadowy figure in the archway in the middle of the night. Like, I had nothing to prove, I had nothing to do, there was no reason for me to do it. I wasn't ghost hunting, I just for some reason went downstairs and just sat in the darkness, drawing this shadow monster staring back at me. Oh, and that was the creepiest point, I don't even think I mentioned it. I drew eyes. Like, not real, like, descriptive eyes. I drew eye holes in the thing, and I couldn't see that in the darkness, but for some reason I drew it with eyes. I just felt like it was looking at me, and it was horrifying. Yeah, so from that point on, like, I was shook, basically. We didn't even have that word back then, but I was shook with a capital sh. And so, I couldn't go back to my bed, because, like, the ceiling was still crawling to me, the ceiling was still moving. It was like I was out of the dream finally, and yet the dream was still around me. So, we had our golden retriever, Buddy, there, not Chica, Buddy, who's an awesome dog that you guys have probably seen videos of and pictures of. I called the Buddy, and I just had to go lay on the couch. I couldn't go through that doorway, the archway, but I went around it, and it was just like, man, I can't, things get foggy after that. I I think like I called out to Buddy because I didn't want to move, and yeah. So yeah, that's my other nightmare story. I've got.